I think a lot of people were like, this guy's going insane. Like, someone needs to tell him to stop.
Do you remember me now?
Hey Dev, Tim from Popcorn Podcast. How are you?
I'm good, Tim. How you doing?
Really, really good. Look, writer, director, star, and producer, your fingerprints are all over Monkey Man, and it shows in all the right ways. Congratulations, I loved it.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks, man.
Was this story always a vehicle for your directorial debut, or did that evolve over time as you wanted to tell this?
Yeah, I kind of was slowly nudged into the director's seat by I had originally came up with the idea and I ended up co-writing it, which I hadn't planned. And then I just kind of took over that writing process. And then I sent it to Neil Blomkamp, this director I'd worked with who did this film District 9. We did a film called Chappie together. And more
Yes.
time I spent with Neil, he was like, dude, you got to do this. It's in you. It's in every fiber of you, you know, every corner and every frame. And I was like, really? He's like, you're doing it already. Just go for it. And I kind of took that advice and ran with it. So I owe him a lot. Yeah.
And now more than ever, telling authentic cultural stories is so important. And you're sharing in Monkey Man, a uniquely Indian film for mass audiences. You've described Monkey Man as an anthem for the underdogs, which I love. Why was this an important story for you to tell?
As a consumer of action films, as someone that like is a super fan of action films, I really just wanted to be represented in a film like that and not just be the kind of comedic relief role or the guy that hacks the mainframe. And you know,
Mhm.
when I conceptualized this, you know, over a decade ago, I was definitely not getting the opportunity to play roles like this. And then when I did start getting better roles, I held out for this because I had a lot I wanted to say with this film, and I wanted to use it as a sort of Trojan horse to kind of attract an audience and give them something with a bit more substance, political context, religious context, you know, all of it really. Yeah.
Yeah, and fans of the action genre expect more, don't they? They want more,
They
they
want more.
deserve more. It's such an evolving, exciting genre, and your film is like evidence that there is so much more to tell in this space, but also delivering on some epic action. And even the name of the city in your film takes place in Yatana, which is a fictional Indian city, and that means struggle, endeavor, vengeance. It's a platform, your film, for the disadvantaged and vulnerable communities. So it's really powerful in that way.
Yeah.
What does the action genre mean to you, Deb? Because I know you're influenced heavily by Chinese and Korean cinema.
Yeah.
What did you want to sort of pull out of those experiences as a fan and sort of throw into your film?
Structurally, it's someone with a single-minded vision normally. And, you know, some of the action greats like Bruce Lee in Game of Death working his way up a pagoda with, you know, opponents of varying degrees of difficulty till you reach this basketball player at the top, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or Judge Dredd, The Raid. You know, I looked at that and I was like, wow, we can apply that to the caste system of India. You know, someone infiltrating a building where the poor are struggling at the bottom, and you know he has to work his way to the land of the kings amongst men and then the gods amongst men, and in this kind of like corrupt heaven space in a way. I was like, wow, we can pin more interesting philosophies onto this common structure. You know, how can we take the training montages that we love in movies like Rocky and stuff like that and infuse them with a different flavor, and can they say more and span more time? And so I was kind of tipping my hat to all these films that I love and also just trying to sprinkle a little bit of spice, I guess, into it, you know, change it up a bit. Yeah.
There's plenty of spice in your movie, mate. It's so good. Now, speaking of spice, like, fuck, you put your body on the line in this one. Like, I even felt that I was coming out bruised and battered having watched it. But you've been training your whole life for this, right? Taekwondo, all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Are you a glutton for punishment? Like, do you get a kick out of putting your body on the line in that way?
After this, probably you could say that. I think a lot of people were like, this guy's going insane. Like, someone needs to tell him to stop. You know,
Yeah.
well, once I broke my foot and then I broke my hand in the kind of first action sequence, and we carried on filming until it was like a big swollen, you know, elephant's foot, you know, and, you know,
Shit.
the doctors were telling me not to keep going. I had a screw in there, and they're like, if you bend that thing, it's gonna be like pulling a nail out of wood, and you're never be able to move that hand. And we just kept going. You know, we had to change the choreo last minute to one-handed moves, and I threw all of myself at it. It's because I genuinely just felt so lucky and so responsible to have this opportunity as a 30-year-old dude in making a movie like this.
One of my favorite lines in the film, it's really, really profound. Pain will leave you once it finishes teaching you.
Mm.
What has making this film taught you, Dev, especially juggling such a physically demanding role, as you've mentioned, but also paired with the director's responsibilities?
That for me was, it's from Indian philosophy, that quote, "The pain will leave you once it's finished teaching you." And you know, this is a scarred character. He's a traumatized leading man. He's got physical scars on his hands, and it's, you know, how he meets other scarred individuals that make him recontextualize what those scars mean. That, you know, actually these are not just, you know, evidence of trauma, but of triumph, of someone that's overcome something. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that. And you know, for me, it's been a truly humbling journey. I need a holiday after this thing, but I'm running on the fumes of excitement and gratitude to everyone that's responding well to it.
Well, you know what? Audiences will soak up the fumes that Monkey Man delivers. Congratulations. I can't wait for audiences to see it. Well done, mate.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.